Have a tea break while you're at it. Come on.
Hello there in internet land. This is episode 4 of the 2025 season of the F1 Chat. I'm your host, Phil Lamington. Seated to my left, he's happy because he's come back from a little holiday in Brisbane for a little bit of magic. It is JB. JB, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. It was a little bit of magic, despite the result of both my teams getting smashed, but the weekend was magic, mate. It was,
Didn't the Broncos get smashed as well?
Broncos got smashed, the Eels got smashed. Every Queensland team lost. It's not very magic for Queensland, despite it being hosted in Brisbane.
But you know who it was magic for?
Who was it magic for?
Anthony Albanese.
It was a magic weekend for him.
The fucking Liberal Party got absolutely smashed.
Yeah, well,
Actually,
Dotto's a snake. So.
Actually, you know what parties absolutely got hammered besides the LNP?
The trumpet of the Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
And the Greens.
The Greens, yeah, they lost all their seats. They got nothing. One Nation got nothing.
Yeah.
And the trumpet of the Patriots, fuck, that still sounds like a Metal Gear Solid subtitle, eh?
Trumpet of the Patriots.
Yeah.
No, it was they were trying to do MAGA shit here.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
because...
Clive Palmer just being a wanker again.
Yeah. I know a guy who voted for that party and is now crowing online about how fucked Australia is because we didn't follow the model of Trump because he's so popular. It's like, he's not fucking popular.
He's about to cause a civil war in America, but, keep going. Push your narrative. We'll start calling you, like, fucking Fox News.
It's like I saw this thing on YouTube where they're saying that the president of Mexico, her opinion rating is up to like 80%. Like, she's just climbed with opinion points according to the people. Donald Trump's opinion rating is tanking. And I think I put down the comment saying Kim Jong-un and Xi Jinping, the president of China, have better approval ratings than Donald Trump.
Well, it's easy to get approval ratings when they're holding a gun to your head.
Yeah, but at least they're not taking the economy.
No, they don't have economies to begin with. China's fucked, and
Well,
I don't think North Korea has an economy.
Timu's doing all right.
Yeah, well,
You know.
I say that as we order shit off,
Well, Timu now has a factory, a warehouse here in Australia now.
Well, there you go.
So if you order stuff, it actually comes from Australia rather than directly from China.
There you go, direct shipping.
Yeah, duty-free shit.
Now, instead of relying on DHL International, you have to rely on Australia Post, which is ostensibly worse.
I don't know. I had to send a couple of things to a friend of mine who lives in New York, and it was Milwaukee saw guide rails.
Yeah, right.
She wanted the 2.7 meter, the 1.4 meter, and the 800 mil.
And she didn't want to meander down to fucking Home Depot?
Well, in America, the Milwaukee Tools guide rails are in black. But here in Australia, they're in red. And her partner wanted them in red.
Yeah, right.
So it cost me $569 Australian for the guide rails alone. And then to send it to her through DHL cost $1,434.
Jesus Christ, is she footing the bill for that at least?
Yep.
She fucking, jeez, better be.
Yeah. Once they get it, I get the money. Ugh, fuck.
Sorry about that.
Jesus Christ, you're cutting and spluttering like Oliver Behrman's engine today.
Oh, mate.
Right.
It was a big weekend. I don't know how I'm even backing up now.
At least you've got tomorrow off.
I do. Well, exactly this time, 24 hours, I'll be arriving on site at work. So,
Right.
But I don't start till Wednesday. So, yeah, technically I do have tomorrow off.
Right, well, we've got 3 races to catch up on.
This is what happens when you have night shift and magic round on back-to-back weekends. You tend to miss stuff, so we're back to do some catching up.
So we're going to start off with the Bahrain F1.
Yes.
Which, look, it was a step up from Japan, but...
Everything was a step up from Japan. It was, yeah. Japanese Grand Prix was basically like high-speed Monaco.
It was.
But yeah, which it's such a great track, but
Yeah.
the cars just really struggled to follow. And didn't rain.
Which doesn't bode well for next year's rules.
Yeah.
Because all the cars now are going to have where they can turn on DRS all the time.
Whenever they want, yeah.
Which means they just promoted a DRS train.
So you're just going to have a whole race DRS train.
You're going to have an entire season of Monaco.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
Yeah, you're just going to have a DRS train that just doesn't end.
It is the most ridiculous bullshit ever.
Yeah, it's not good.
We're going backwards with the rules.
Yeah. Yep. You had the cars right around, 2005.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. I do have the
Bahrain.
race recap from Bahrain.
Mm-hmm.
2025 Gulf Air Bahrain Grand Prix from the Secure International Circuit. Lap 1, Oscar Piastri starts on pole position alongside Charles Leclerc. Oscar gets the whole shot into turn 1. George Russell dive bombs Leclerc for second. Lando Norris passes Charles Leclerc around the outside of turn 4 for third. Lap 3, Lando Norris is noted for an incorrect starting position by the FIA. Lap 5, Kimi Antonelli sends it from another postcode on Carlos Sainz for 6th. Then Verstappen picks him off 2. Lap 7, Lando Norris is handed a 5-second time penalty for a false start in being ahead of his grid box. Lap 9, Lewis Hamilton and Carlos Sainz have a great fight. Hamilton passes Sainz eventually, Verstappen taking advantage too. Lap 10, Kimi Antonelli slingshots past Pierre Gasly for 5th. Lap 11, Lando Norris pits for medium tyres, serving his 5-second penalty in the process. Max Verstappen pitting for hards at the same time, but has a slow pit stop as the red light on his pit box stays on. Lap 13, Kimi Antonelli stops for mediums. 14, George Russell stops for mediums. 15, Oscar Piastri pits from the lead of the race for medium tyres. Lap 18, Charles Leclerc pits for mediums again despite arguing with Ferrari to go to plan B. Lewis Hamilton follows him in. Lap 20, Kimi Antonelli passes Max Verstappen for 7th with a good move in a juicy battle. Lap 21, Max Verstappen tells Red Bull that everything is overheating. Lap 22, Lewis Hamilton passes Jack Doohan for 9th. Oliver Behrman passes Isaac Hedjar for 13th around the outside of turn 4, while Lewis Hamilton passes Max Verstappen for 8th. Lap 23, Hedjar and Antonelli are shown black and white flags for exceeding track limits. That exceeded track limits. Lap 24, Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris have a good squabble for 3rd. Charles Leclerc getting passed as his teammate Lewis Hamilton passes Kimi Antonelli. Lap 27, Max Verstappen gives up on the hard tyres, pitting for mediums, but has another horror pit stop as the front right tyre doesn't come off clean. Lap 31, Yuki Tsunoda and Carlos Sainz make contact, Alex losing some carbon fibre. Lap 32, a safety car is deployed with a bunch of carbon fibre scattered through the first 4 corners. Oscar Piastri gets a gift, along with the top 4 as they all get a free pit stop. Lap 36, Lewis Hamilton passes Lando off the restart. Lando gets it back out at turn 4, but he runs wide and redresses to avoid another penalty. Lap 38, Lando Norris passes Lewis Hamilton at turn 4 cleanly to take 3rd place. Lap 42, Liam Lawson is handed a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision with Nico Hulkenberg. Lap 44, Carlos Sainz is handed a 10-second time penalty for forcing Kimi Antonelli off the track. Lap 47, Carlos Sainz retires in his Williams with a big hole in his side pod caused by Yuki Tsunoda. Lap 52, George Russell says his gears are starting to go as he holds on to P2. He also accidentally opened DRS. Lando Norris finally gets past Charles Leclerc for 3rd as he passes around the outside of turn 4 cleanly. And lap 57, Oscar Piastri wins the Bahrain Grand Prix with a dominant performance. George Russell just holds off Lando Norris for 2nd place.
And in 4th place was Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. In 5th place is Lewis Hamilton in the other Ferrari. 6th place was Max Verstappen in the Red Bull. 7th place was Pierre Gasly in the Alpine. 8th place was Esteban Ocon in the Haas. 9th place is Yuki Tsunoda in the Red Bull. And 10th place was Ollie Behrman in the other Haas. So, pretty flawless drive by old Oscar.
Oscar was untouchable in that race, yes.
I think he's showing the difference, and this is going to be a recurring theme, but he's really starting to show the difference between him and Lando Norris.
He's a much more level driver.
Yeah.
Just level-headed. Lando's quick on his day, but Oscar's just showing some real maturity.
Yeah.
So, he, as we go through here, the theme will recur.
Yeah. It's a repeating theme.
Oscar's a pretty handy driver.
So we're going to go the key drivers. Jesus.
Jeez, we both sound good.
Yeah, it's great. You're in for a humdinger at home. The first key driver was George Russell. He did pretty well in that race.
He managed to hold on to P2 with the gearbox starting to go.
Yeah.
He was a lap away from getting caught, but
yeah.
Good on him.
Next key driver was Lando Norris.
Yep.
Recovering from a 5-second penalty.
Yeah.
Is it a 5-second penalty?
Yeah, it was, but he had to serve it in the pit stop, so it just took even longer.
Next key driver, Charles Leclerc. Drove a solid race.
Certainly did. I think both Ferraris drove an okay race.
Well, Hamilton's next on the list.
Yep.
It showed that when that car is on, it's got something.
When the track suits it, yes.
Yeah, the problem is not a lot of tracks seem to be suiting it.
It's a very track-specific car this year.
Yeah.
Last year it seemed to be a lot more of an all-rounder.
Yeah, and we'll get back to them later on in the episode. My next key driver is Pierre Gasly.
Yeah, right.
In the Alpine. He did pretty well to get it into the points.
Yeah, well, I guess if you're driving an Alpine, getting it into the points is pretty solid.
Yeah. Esteban Ocon in the Haas.
Yep.
Managed to coax something out of the Haas.
Probably one of his better drives.
I also put Yuki Tsunoda. Second drive in the Red Bull, and he did all right, got himself into the points. He's done all right for himself there.
Had to do what was expected of him, I guess.
And the final one was Ollie Behrman.
Yeah.
Got
Good for
into
him
the
to get
points.
too.
Yeah. PK kick time, helmet driver. There's only 2 names here. I mean, we could add a third one if you want. Would you like me to add the bonus one first?
Well, what was your bonus pick?
My bonus pick is the Red Bull pit light.
Yeah, that probably gets my leading vote.
Lance Stroll.
Yeah.
Because he's just
Lance Stroll.
Stroll. And Liam Lawson.
Yeah.
Because Liam Lawson was not great.
I think I have to give it to the Red Bull pit light.
Yeah, I think the Red Bull pit
because
light.
it happened twice.
Yeah.
It happened twice, and whatever the hell that issue was.
Yeah, nothing.
Wouldn't have had this problem with the Lollipop Man.
Yeah, I think Martin Brundle said that.
Yeah.
Was he on commentary for that race?
No, he wasn't in Bahrain.
No.
He was at Jeddah, and but he wasn't in Bahrain.
Yeah, that was I can't remember who did the commentary. It was so long ago. So we're going to do the drivers' standings now for after the Bahrain.
After
F1.
Bahrain.
So in 10th place is Lance Stroll, 9th on 10 points. 9th place is Esteban Ocon on 14. 8th place is Alex Albon with 18. 7th is Lewis Hamilton with 25. 6th is Kimi Antonelli with 30. 5th is Charles Leclerc with 32. 4th is Jorge Russell with 63. 3rd is Max Verstappen with 69. 2nd is Oscar Piastri with 74. And leading the championship at that time was Lando Norris with 77 points. And in the constructors, tied for 9th was Kick Sauber and Alpine with 6 points each. 8th is Racing Bulls with 7. 7th is Aston Martin with 10. 6th is Williams with 19. 5th is Haas with 20 points.
Hey, yo.
4th is Ferrari with 57 points. 3rd is Red Bull with 71 points. 2nd is Mercedes with 93 points. And 1st is McLaren with 151. So now we're going to move on to the Cheese Grand Prix, Jeddah.
The Jeddah Connie Street Circuit.
He's a bit Cornish, isn't it? He's a bit Cornish.
2025 STC Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Lap 1, Max Verstappen starts on pole position alongside Oscar Piastri. Oscar holds his line into turn 1. Max is pushed off the track as he retains his advantage. Further back, Yuki Tsunoda and Pierre Gasly make contact and spin into the barriers as the safety car is deployed. Max is handed a 5-second time penalty for retaining a lasting advantage after running off the track. Max pits and serves his penalty, losing out to Oscar Piastri for the net race lead after Lando pits. Liam Lawson is handed a 10-second time penalty for track limits. And Oscar Piastri wins the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, taking the World Championship lead in the process as Max Verstappen finishes second and Charles Leclerc gets third.
And Lando Norris finishes fourth for McLaren. George Russell finished fifth for Mercedes. Kimi Antonelli finished sixth in the other Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton was seventh in the Ferrari. Carlos Sainz is eighth in the Williams. Alex Albon is ninth in the other Williams. And Isaac Hadjar gets 10th place in the Racing Bull.
There you go.
So Piastri did well.
Did what he had to do again.
Did what he had to do.
Just another measured drive. You know, put his elbows out against Max, which Max didn't like, but...
Well, you know, when you look at that corner, like, I mean, Christian Horner showed up at the press conference with a photo saying Max had the corner. The problem is, when you look at that photo, they're well past the apex of the corner where he's in front. When you look at it and it's at the apex of the corner, his car is behind.
Yeah, they were axle to axle at best. But, and Oscar stayed on the track.
And he had the racing line.
Yeah.
So, sorry, but Max, you got what you deserved.
You know, Oscar's not afraid to get his elbows out, and Red Bull didn't like it.
So, key drivers again. I did actually have Max on here, but because of that, I think I'm going to take him off.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
just, you know.
I did put Charles Leclerc.
Yep.
Coaxed something out of that Ferrari again.
Got it on the podium.
Yeah. Lando Norris, nice recovery drive from him.
Yeah, he didn't have the greatest starting position, but he only just missed the podium.
Kimi Antonelli.
Yep.
Yeah, he's doing all right. He has moments where you're like, Jesus, kid, what are you doing? But they're few and far between. He's starting to really...
He's showing the potential that, you know, the hype that he came in with.
I think that's the difference, though, between him and, say, a Jack Doohan. Because Jack Doohan is driving a shitbox.
Yes. But he's also crashing the shitbox.
Yeah, because it's a shitbox.
Yes.
Yeah. Whereas Kimmy's slotted straight into a top tier team.
Yeah, but, I mean, just because the car's good doesn't mean you're going to get... Look at Sergio Perez. Look at Yuki Tsunoda.
Liam Lawson.
Just because he's driving a Red Bull doesn't mean he's going to top 3 it.
Well,
You know, it does still take talent to get the car around the track.
next key driver was Carlos Sainz.
Yes.
And
Probably needed a little bit of good fortune in the Williams.
as is his teammate Alex Albon. He's
Yeah.
on the list as well. Like they bagged some serious points for Williams.
Yes.
And Isaac Hadjar.
Yeah, getting in the top 10 there.
Yeah. The return of the PK kick again. So I've got Bortoletto, because he finished dead last.
He is driving a Sauber though.
Very true. And obviously Lance Stroll.
Just give it to Lance because it's Lance.
It's Lance. Someone's got to lick the windows.
That's it.
Right. And we get the driver's standings again.
Yes.
It's becoming a recurring theme here. So in 10th place is Lance Stroll with... How? How? What the...
Well, we just made our window liquor list, and there he is in 10th.
With 10 points.
There you
He's
go.
had 10 points for... What?
I don't think Fernando Alonso scored any points to this point either.
No, he hasn't.
So he's out driving his teammate. Maybe Fernando should be on the list instead of Lance.
Yeah, but he did nothing.
But neither's Fernando.
I mean, he's doing nothing.
That's true.
But Lance Stroll, 10th place, 10 points. 9th place is Esteban Ocon with 14. 8th place is Alexander Albon with 20. Seventh place is Lewis Hamilton with 31 points. Sixth place is Kimi Antonelli with 38 points. Fifth place is Charles Leclerc with 47 points. Fourth place is George Russell with 73 points. Third place is Max Verstappen with 87 points. Dropping down to second is Lando Norris with 89 points. And taking over the lead of the championship is Australian boy Oscar Piastri with 99 red balloons. 99 points.
The irony of that, Oscar Piastri is the first Australian to lead the Grand Prix World Championship since his manager,
Mark Webber.
In 2010.
Yeah, but, you know, I mean, Sebastian's got protection as usual and nothing will happen.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I don't think Lando's got protection as usual. So we'll see how this develops.
And the constructors still tied for ninth. You've got Kick Sauber and Alpine on 6 points. Racing Bulls are in eighth with 8 points. Aston Martin are in seventh with 10 points.
All 10 of those points are Lance Stroll's points.
Just...
Take that and run with it. All 10 of those points belong to Lance Stroll.
I'm waiting for Rocket Powered Mohawk to make a video going, how shit is Fernando Alonso when he can't beat?
Yep.
In sixth place is Haas with 20 points. Fifth place is Williams with 25 points. Fourth place is Ferrari with 78 points. Third place is Red Bull with 89 points. Second place is Mercedes with 111 points. And McLaren in first place with 188 points. So now we're going to move on to the main event. Not quite. It's the F1 Sprint for Miami.
It is the sprint race at the 2025 Crypto.com Miami Grand Prix. That's why sinuses refuse to play the game. Lap 1, Kimi Antonelli. Kimi Antonelli starts on pole position. The youngest pole sitter ever, alongside Oscar Piastri. Charles Leclerc not starting the race after wrecking his Ferrari on the sighting lap. Formation lap begins behind the safety car, but is red flagged after the spray becomes too much. The cars are sent out sometime later for another formation lap on a much drier yet still damp track. Oscar gets his elbows out and Kimi Antonelli is pushed wide in turn 1 as he loses the race lead and second place to both McLarens, with Max Verstappen passing him shortly after. Liam Lawson says his visor is broken and he can't see. Max Verstappen complains of a similar issue. Race control enabled DRS. Yuki Tsunoda takes the gamble as the first car onto dry tyres. Max Verstappen pits as Kimi Antonelli comes in. Max is released into the path of the Mercedes. Max's front wing braking as Kimi Antonelli is forced to go around again after missing his pit box. Carlos Sainz has a rear puncture after clobbering the inside wall at the slow chicane in a clumsy moment. Oscar Piastri pits for McLaren as Lando Norris is sent around for an extra lap. The team decides against the double stack. Fernando Alonso has a massive shunt as Lawson makes a silly move off the track. Lando Norris is coming out of the pits just as the safety car is deployed, slowing the race down enough for Lando to slip ahead of Oscar Piastri for the sprint race lead. Max Verstappen is handed a 10-second time penalty for an unsafe release. And Lando Norris leads Oscar Piastri home as the sprint race finishes under safety car conditions. Lewis Hamilton sneaking onto the podium for third.
Fourth place was Alex Albon in the Williams. Fifth place was George Russell in the Mercedes. Sixth place was Lance Stroll in the... What the... Fuck me.
Keep putting you on that list.
Oh, jeez.
Fernando Alonso crashes and Lance Stroll gets more points.
Yeah, Lance Stroll's sixth place for Aston Martin. Seventh place is Liam Lawson.
Holy.
Liam Lawson in the Racing Bulls. In eighth place is Ollie Behrman in the Haas. This is hurting my brain.
Wow.
But it's a sprint. It's a sprint.
Yeah, it doesn't count
it's,
for anything.
it's tiddlywinks. This is the main event.
It's the participation trophy of the weekend. But the main event, the Grand Prix. Max Verstappen starts on pole position alongside Lando Norris. Max locks up into turn 1. Lando Norris is then squeezed wide as Max shuts the door. Lando dropping to fourth as a result. Jack Dillon has a puncture on his front left. The Alpine peeling off to the side of the track after heavy contact with Liam Lawson. virtual safety car is deployed. Oscar Piastri passes Kimi Antonelli for second place after the virtual safety car ends. Lando Norris mugs George Russell for fourth as Lando begins a recovery charge up the field. Lando passes Kimi Antonelli on lap 9 for third as he begins to show a lot of pace. Fernando Alonso has an awkward spin in the Aston Martin. He's had a few of those this year. Oscar Piastri outwits Max Verstappen into turn 1 on lap 14, taking the lead of the Grand Prix as Max outbrakes himself. Lando Norris muscles his way past Max Verstappen for second place on lap 17 as Max desperately tries to fight back. Max does regain the place, but Lando takes it back again a lap later. Oliver Bauman's Haas shuts down on lap 29, the virtual safety car deployed. Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris get their pit stops done under VSC conditions to maintain their comfortable 1-2. Yuki Tsunoda has handed a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Gabriel Bortoletto's Sauber shuts down with an engine failure, triggering another virtual safety car. Lewis Hamilton takes advantage of Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz's battle to get past Carlos Sainz. Liam Lawson retires from the Grand Prix with floor damage after early contact with Jack Doohan. And Oscar Piastri wins the Miami Grand Prix to extend his championship lead, his third consecutive victory, as McLaren teammate Lando Norris gets second, and George Russell lands on the podium for third.
Max Verstappen is in fourth. Fifth place is Alex Albon in the Williams. Sixth place is Kimi Antonelli in the Mercedes. Seventh place was Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. Eighth place was Lewis Hamilton in the other Ferrari. Ninth place was Carlos Sainz in the Williams. And in 10th place was Yuki Tsunoda in the other Red Bull. So, Oscar Piastri, he did all right, old son.
Well, we've covered 3 Grand Prix now.
Now we can talk about him a little bit more.
And he's won all 3 of them.
And he is the first McLaren driver to win 3 races in a row since 1998, since Mika Hakkinen.
Wow.
That's
incredible.
That's big.
That's huge.
That is big.
That is huge for the team and huge for him.
Because it was Jerez in 97, Australia, and oh god, they said what the second race was in Australia in the 98 season. So yeah, Mika had won 3 in a row. So good on him. But I mean, he is driving really, really well.
He is putting his foot down, and Lando is having a hard time going with him.
I'd go as far as saying, big call here, but I think he might be the world champion at the end of the year.
He is definitely the dominant driver at the moment.
Which would mean he will be the first Australian world champion since Alan Jones in 1980.
Look, it's early. It's only round 6 of 23 or 24.
24.
So, plenty of time. You know, Lando pull his finger out. As long as Lando doesn't get desperate and this turns into a Santa Frost situation. But, no, it's so far so good for Mr. Piastri.
For me, he seems to be driving very much like an Australian version of Kimi Räikkönen.
Yeah.
Or an Australian Mika Hakkinen, where he's got that, almost got that Finnish Iceman cold thing going on, where he just gets in the car and does his job, and there's no bitching on the radio. It's just, you know, if the team needs him to do something, he does it.
Yeah.
You know, he is, for lack of a better word, he is a consummate pro.
Well, he is, and what's more, he actually started behind Lando in this race.
Yeah.
Lando and Max were on the front row, and he's come from behind both of them.
Yeah. And
beaten them convincingly. So it's, you know, it's like Lando's, you know, supposedly the faster driver, but
he's gotten more to grips with the car.
Oscar's just completely taken everything he's learnt from the last 2 years, and he's applying it now.
Yeah.
And he's leading the championship, and he's won 3 races on the trot.
Yeah,
he's in brilliant form.
He's won 4 races this season, hasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. And he's got more wins than his teammate.
He's got more wins than Lando Norris. and he's been in the sport 2 years.
Yeah. This is his
it's
third
unreal.
year.
He's had 51 races. He's got 6 race wins.
Yeah.
Lando's had like 180 races, and he's got 5.
Yeah.
Like, this is a massive changing of the guard at McLaren.
And you know, the other thing that just flooded into my mind then was, if there's one team that seriously looks like it's got egg on its face because of this, it's got to be Alpine.
Oh, they'd be hating every second of this.
You know, it's, you know, you had a top shelf driver, but you didn't have a contract.
And what's more to this, Oscar's taken it to Max Verstappen twice.
Yep.
Twice in the last 2 races and got the better of Max twice.
Yeah.
Like, he's absolutely fearless at the moment. Like, he's in such great form that it doesn't matter who he's taking on.
Well, I think that's part of my evaluation of him being like an Australian Mika Hakkinen or an Australian Kimi Räikkönen.
He's just calm.
He's calm, and you know what? He's not going to be bullied by Max Verstappen.
He's not going to be bullied by anyone.
No.
I'm still waiting for when it's going to be Lando and Oscar. And Oscar's going to have to get past Lando. I've got a weird feeling that might happen at Silverstone. But...
it could happen at any time, though.
Exactly. It could be the detriment of, you know, either driver or the team. Like, I really don't... I'm just worried about how Lando's going to react.
And the thing is, if it comes down to wheel-to-wheel combat, and they're allowed to race, and it's wheel-to-wheel combat...
I think Oscar's got the edge on Lando.
Yeah.
I think Oscar's proven... We've seen Lando race Max last year, and more times than often just fuck it up.
Yeah.
But now we see Oscar race Max this year, and he's way more clean, he's way more decisive.
Yeah.
And he's way more calmer in the situation. He's not going to hit the panic button. And I'm worried that Lando will. And I'm worried that when Lando hits the panic button, it's not going to be Max Verstappen around him, it's going to be Oscar.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be fireworks.
Yeah. Right, so, key drivers. I've got Lando Norris on there.
Well, yeah, he did. He did what he could.
He did really well. Also got George Russell.
That dude just lands on the podium without doing anything spectacular. Yeah. It's weird how he does that. Every time, like, the McLarens do spectacular shit, he's there.
Yeah.
He's on the P2 or P3. He's just always there.
He just turns up. Like, he's almost like he's Mercedes is Suzuki in MotoGP. Like,
he's just there.
He's just...
where'd you come from? A kid?
You know what he is? John Turturro's character from Mr. Deeds.
Yeah. Just
very snigger.
Yeah, very sneaky, sir. Just rocking up out anyway.
Yeah, just... Max Verstappen is on the list. I think he did all right, but... look...
how long until he just cracks the shoes for Red Bull?
Yeah, well, I mean, he keeps cracking up about the brakes. I don't...
He outbraked himself in the turn one and then had to blame something.
Yeah. The cracks are starting to show with him.
Yeah.
You know, he's gone the way of... he's kind of gone the way of, like, Lewis Hamilton, where if it doesn't go his way...
well, those cracks are starting to show too.
Oh, we'll get to him in a few minutes. But, yeah, just Max is fighting, and he doesn't have the car underneath him. He's trying his best.
Oh, he's given it everything he's got, but... like... the cracks were starting to show last year.
Yeah.
But now that the car's actually outgunned...
yeah.
he hasn't got much left to fight with.
Next key driver is Alex Albon.
Yeah, 5th place.
Yeah.
5th place. You know, both Williams were doing great till Carlos got... who was he battling?
Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, he got mugged by Lewis, but those Williams were 5th and 6th for a while.
Next driver was Sainz. He did all right.
He was frustrated after the race, though. He's like, it's not the way I usually drive. Like, he admitted that he was struggling to get comfortable with the Williams. So,
But him and Albon are really good pairing and really coaxing something special out of this Williams. So, you know, good on them for what they're doing, you know.
Oh, look, this is what we hoped Williams would do.
Oh, absolutely.
So
We've been hoping for this for Williams for 10 fucking years.
yeah, exactly. They're starting to get there. You know, if Carlos could get to grips with the car, or they can give an update that helps Carlos out, yeah, I think they'll be on their way.
And my last driver was Yuki Tsunoda. Got some points.
Got some points.
You know, he's doing better than Liam Lawson in that car.
Oh, absolutely.
He's doing better than Checo in the last 6 months of him being at Red Bull.
Oh, I think a lot of drivers could do a lot better than Checo.
You know, but when you're driving a car that's designed for Max Verstappen, and even Max Verstappen can't get the best out of it,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, you're trying to clap with one hand tied behind your back.
Yeah.
So then we get to the PK kick again. So helmet drivers, Liam Lawson. Now, the reason why Liam Lawson is on this list and Jack Doohan is not is because I think that Liam Lawson was responsible for the crash that took Jack Doohan out of the race.
Yeah, he just dived by. He was nowhere where he should have been.
Yeah, he pulled a Cavat.
He really did. He torpedoed, and yeah, Jack had nowhere to go.
Yeah, and poor old Jack. Well, we'll talk about him in a few minutes. Next one, Lance Stroll.
Again, it's Lance Stroll and not Fernando Alonso.
But I think the third one you're going to agree with. All right.
The third one.
The Ferrari strategy team.
They're back.
They're back. We've rehired them off Centrelink.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Lewis is having a great time.
fuck me. Like, we'll talk about Ferrari in a sec, but their strategy department, like, you know, it's, as a Ferrari supporter, it's just soul crushing to see them do well in Bahrain and Jeddah. And then this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't take long for to return to the old norm there, did it?
I think whoever's in charge of the Ferrari strategy department should change his name to Norm.
Yeah.
Just so he can sit there and say, things
It's
are
back to the
returned.
norm.
Things are returned to the norm.
Yeah.
So who are you voting for?
Well, it's got to be Ferrari.
I'll go the
I do.
Ferrari strategy department.
Nothing like a good old return to form.
So we were going to discuss Oscar Piastri, but we've discussed him enough this episode.
Championship leader and looking good.
Yep. Just well, he's not a smooth operator because that's Carlos Sainz's gimmick.
Well,
So we can't use that one.
he's going to have to come up with something because right now he is operating that thing smoothly.
He's smoother than the Simpson Desert.
I don't know how smooth the Simpson Desert is. I've never been there.
Neither have I.
There you go.
Yeah, but there we go. Smoother than the Great Barrier Reef.
Smooth as Vegemite on toast.
Yeah, with a bit of butter on it.
There you go.
He's gonna mix it with butter.
There you go. We'll be your advertising team. Tell
Yeah.
Mark Webber to send us a check.
Includes 6 zeros.
It's just 6 zeros. 0.0000.
There's a couple of decimal points in there.
Make us feel good about it.
Right. All right, let's rip the Band-Aid off. We're talking about Ferrari.
Awesome.
Wow. Like, you've got... And this race was proving point of it. Like, Lewis had the medium tyres and Charles Leclerc was on the hard tyres.
Yeah.
And Lewis was behind Charles. And he was getting held up. So he asked, could you get Charles Leclerc to let me through and let me have a go? It took him 3 laps
Yep.
before they made the call.
Yep.
And Lewis gets on there and goes, in the time you did that, you could have made a cup of tea.
Yep.
And then he gets in front. But because his tyres are cooked, he can't do anything.
Lewis Hamilton is finding out firsthand what it's like to be a Ferrari driver.
So then they swap.
It's not 2002. It's not 2002, Lewis. I'm sorry. You've got like current day Ferrari, and it's not as pretty as it looks. It's about as dog shit as your fucking Miami livery, actually.
You should have spoken to Sebastian Vettel, all right? He could have told you. But so then they swapped them back, and Charles actually got on with it. Clearly, he'd punched through the kink with the hard
Charles
tyre.
does seem to know how to get a tyre through the grading phase.
Yeah.
Better than most.
And because Hamilton's tyres were shot, all he had to do was just try and hang on.
Yeah.
And then they said to Hamilton, Carlos Sainz is 1.14 seconds behind you. And he goes, do you want me to let them through too?
Oh, fuck. Oh, boy.
He even said, he's like, so much for teamwork in this team.
Yeah, welcome to Ferrari, Lewis.
Yeah, I don't...
We tried to warn you.
You know, the thing is, though, he can't blame Charles Leclerc.
It actually makes you wonder how Carlos would be doing right now if he'd stayed.
I don't know.
I mean, Carlos isn't entirely happy at Williams either, but it just makes you wonder.
But here's the thing, and like Ferrari posted photos on Instagram of the livery they were running for the weekend.
Looks like shit.
And, you know, it's got so much blue on it. You're like, come on, is this a Ferrari or is this a Williams? Like, what the fuck?
I think my mate actually said it looks like a Williams has fucking run up the arse of a Ferrari. That's what the livery looks like. It looks like Carlos Sainz has just run up Lewis's arse.
Well, that kind of did happen towards the end of this race.
Kind of poetic.
I love how Carlos Sainz drove into him and then he's like, oh, he moved in the braking area. He was at the fucking corner. Where else was he supposed to go?
Of course he was braking. He's at the apex.
But, like, they put the photos up and everyone's like, oh, yeah, the livery looks like shit, blah, 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 blah. And I put the comment down going, have you guys thought about making a better car rather than a different livery?
Yeah.
Just for something different?
Yeah, no.
You know,
I mean,
the car is
Carlos could have stayed, but the car is still like the fourth fastest car in the grid.
But the
now.
car is so fundamentally fuddy-duddy.
What did they do in the off-season?
Well, Enrique
Because
Cardiel
it was the
left.
second fastest car on the grid before.
Yeah, but Enrique Cardiel, who was their technical director who designed the car, he left and went to Aston Martin because he knew Ferrari were trying to get Adrian Newey. So he's left and gone to Aston Martin. And then Aston Martin has hired Adrian Newey anyway, so he's left his post for no fucking reason. Then Enrique Cardiel starts working on the Aston Martin before his gardening leave is up.
And
So
then he has court mandated to stop.
and he gets another 6 months tacked onto his gardening leave.
Oh, wow.
So
That's a complete failure from just top to bottom, isn't it?
it's almost like his management team is the Ferrari strategy team.
It's just Ferrari as a whole.
Yeah.
Give us any situation, we'll fuck it for you.
Like, how? But, I mean, even their car is so temperamental. One track, it's doing really good, and it's fighting for points. The next one, it's tooling around in the back end of the top 10 with the drivers getting shit off at strategy calls.
Yeah.
That make no fucking sense because it takes them a cup of coffee and a fucking bomb threat.
It was such an all-rounder last year, but this year it's struggling. It's really track-specific.
But I am going to say this too, and I have heaped praise on him, but I think Lewis Hamilton is a dud. He is a dud.
He's struggling and he's not happy.
You know what it is? You ever seen that movie Moneyball?
Yes.
He's David Justice.
Yeah?
That's what he is, David Justice.
He's just overpaid. He's come in. He's wrong.
You know,
He doesn't fit.
He should have retired at the end of 2022. Him and Alonso, because they're both past their prime.
Well, Alonso's showing it this year, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's just...
And he's still got another... They both finished their contracts at the end of next year.
No one said anything about Fernando and how shit he's driving. Like, no one's said shit about Fernando.
No.
No, he hasn't scored a point, and he's spun out of basically every race.
Yeah.
And no one said a fucking thing about that.
But
It's just odd. He's getting a free pass?
Oh, no. He gets out there and says, oh, it's the car. The car's not great. And because it's Fernando Alonso, it's like, oh, well.
Must be all right. Lance Stroll's scored all the team points, though.
Yeah.
You're getting outdriven by Lance
Yeah, but
Stroll. Like,
Alonso beat Michael Schumacher in 06.
oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you forgot about that. And he beat Kimi Räikkönen in 05.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know, and then he got beaten by Kimi and Lewis Hamilton in 07.
There you go.
You know, he could have won the championship. No, he left the gate open for Kimi.
Yep.
He was too busy throwing statues and trophies and shit at Ron Dennis. But, oh, God, I think Lewis Hamilton's a bust.
Yeah.
But then
The car's not great either.
And it's going to get to a point where Lewis Hamilton's going to feel like Alain Prost driving at Ferrari. Like, I think it was 1990, he was competitive against Senna
Yeah.
in the Ferrari. And then 91, the car was so crap, he described it as a truck and got fired.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, so I think the Lewis Hamilton experiment is failing.
The car doesn't help, but yeah.
And well, then it brings up the question. It was a friend of mine listening to the show, Peggy. She asked me, well, if Lewis Hamilton leaves, who's going to replace Lewis Hamilton at Ferrari? Because I don't think Behrman's ready.
It's probably all you got.
It's either
Well, you're not taking fucking Ocon, are you?
No.
Well, it's got to be Behrman. He can't be anyone else. You can't. Well, you're going to fucking beg for Carlos Sainz to come back.
I would.
No. Fuck that. Carlos wouldn't. Fuck you guys. You dumped him for Lewis.
But if you show up with a big bag of Italian cash... But you know what? I reckon if Max Verstappen wants out of Red Bull, I think they would happily dump Lewis Hamilton to get Max Verstappen in that Ferrari.
I can still see Max going to Aston.
But I think, honestly, I reckon George Russell and Max Verstappen are going to swap seats. Russell doesn't have a contract at the end of the year.
That's interesting.
So
what if Russell gets outdriven by Kimi?
Swap Kimi with George Russell, they can swap seats.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's no one at Red Bull who can match the standard of Max Verstappen.
No. Even
Okay.
with the car's shit.
Okay.
Even when the car's shit, it's still to the level of Max.
Yeah.
The car is suited perfectly to Max, even if it's shit or good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a scary situation. But maybe they've got to take a chance on Ollie Behrman. I mean, they took a chance with Charles Leclerc.
Yeah.
You know, maybe taking a chance on Ollie Behrman.
It's not the worst. Ollie Behrman is far from the worst option.
Well, the only reason why he's failing at Haas is because the Haas is not a great car.
Yeah, but he's still getting points out of it when he can.
But I mean, when they put him in Carlos Sainz Ferrari last year,
Yeah, got
you know,
seventh.
with 45 minutes practice, he delivered the goods.
Yep.
Yeah, he was delivering the goods.
Yep.
Okay, so, but I think the only way you can fix an issue with Hamilton and Ferrari right now is throw cash at Bono and get him to jump ship.
Bono would help.
Because
it's not it's the car.
Because
It's not the engineer. It's the car.
oh yeah, but that engineer that Hamilton's got, he is a dickhead.
Yeah.
He is a right dickhead, and he needs Bono.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's not going to fix the car. Like, it's not going to
No, that's right.
fix the fact that Lewis has to outdrive the car to try and get anything out of it.
Yeah.
And he's not comfortable with it, and he's not happy with it. And Bono's not going to...
No, but it'll be that comfort factor for Hamilton, knowing that he's in sync with his engineer.
I don't think Bono's going to go anywhere. He's got Kimi Antonelli there, and Kimi's driving great.
Yeah.
You know? He's on to the
Just
next big thing.
yeah, but just remember, Italian mafia blood money cash.
Yeah, but they've got German Austrian machine money.
Well, here's the next one, Alpine. Well, there's rumours that Jack Doohan is cooked. He's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're going to replace him with not Bortoletto, Colapinto. By the next race, he's done.
I can't even say I'm surprised, honestly.
Yeah, it's a hard call because he had flashes of something.
The knives were out from him from the start.
Yeah.
And he hasn't... He would have had to have done something astronomical to stave them off.
Yeah.
And he hasn't.
Particularly with how cutthroat Flavio Briatore is.
Flavio's a fuckwit, but...
Cheating fuckwit.
He's a fuckwit. He's an absolute fuckwit. He's probably the only person on par with Helmut Marko in the fuckwit factory. I fucking hate...
The fuckwit factory.
I fucking hate him.
But he helped Fernando Alonso beat Michael Schumacher.
So he's a fuckwit. Yeah, like... Yeah. The only way Jack was ever going to save his seat was to do basically be Kimi Antonelli.
Oh, I mean...
And just hit the ground running and get all these fucking results that you fucking... no one expected you to get. And
even then, he would have had to have turned water into wine, walked on water, and resurrected himself after being killed
fucking
on
doesn't
a cross.
matter. You know what? Probably a good thing for Jack. Because that Alpine's a shitbox. That Alpine's doing fucking anything anyway.
Yeah.
Put Colapinto in there and fucking Colapinto's going to struggle anyway.
Yeah.
So, it shouldn't be any skin. It's going to suck.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be any skin off his nose at the end of the day. Go do something else, because Alpine's a shit organisation with a shit leader and a shit car. And Colapinto's not going to have it any fucking easier.
Yeah.
So...
All right, so we're moving on to the news now.
All right.
We finally got to the news portion of this.
The news.
Yeah, it's only taken us nearly an hour.
That's good.
Right, so first news item. Miami Grand Prix is extended through to 2041?
So we're starting with some bad news. One of the shittest tracks on the calendar is fucking going nowhere.
That's a 16-year contract.
Meanwhile, Spa's on rotation till 28. Or 32. I don't even know if Monza's just got renewed.
Imola is not getting renewed.
So we're losing iconic tracks for Miami.
Yep.
And there's rumours that Kona might not be extended for much longer.
Right.
Well, enjoy the Miami Grand Prix.
It's funny they're ditching the American race. That's the cheapest of the three.
And the best track of the three.
For this shit show of a track.
Yes. They're ditching the only actual racetrack in America for two shitty street races. Well, Vegas is alright on its day.
Yeah, Vegas
it wasn't very exciting last year, but it was the first year.
Yeah. But
they just have to go and unweld the manhole covers and make it interesting again.
Make it like Death Race.
Yeah.
the covers, the manhole covers.
Yeah, it'll be like cars. F1 meets Smashed.
Push a button, drop the tombstone.
I'm all for it.
Well, we got better news.
Oh, good.
Mexico is renewed until 2028. What did they sign these fuckers up until 2041?
Yeah, how come that's only going for another 3 years? But fucking Miami can be signed for fucking ever.
Well, you know what it is? It's because Trump has put a tariff on it.
Yeah, it's probably a 20% tariff on the Mexico Grand Prix.
Yeah. Yeah. But good on Mexico, because that is actually a good track.
It's a good track, and they fucking turn out.
It's a really good track if you're, 18 seconds down and you slap softs on you. You're hunting someone down.
It is a good track for holding them off until the end. Just.
Right, the next one, I haven't put a photo in, but there should be a photo right about now. Apparently, Checo has met up with the reps from the Cadillac F1 team.
Yes, Checo's private jet was spotted landing in Miami.
And he was still 2 minutes slower than Max Verstappen's jet.
Yeah. He almost put it in the wall in the terminal, but it got there.
So this is interesting. Checo might be driving for Cadillac next year.
I'm not surprised, actually.
Who's going to be the other driver at Cadillac, though?
I'd love to say Valtteri. Or Danny Rick, but Danny Rick specifically said he's done.
Well, people...
I wouldn't mind seeing them getting an IndyCar driver over.
Yeah, well, that's what they're saying. It's going to be an IndyCar driver. Oh, God. Who are the two IndyCar drivers' names that always come up on this?
Pillow?
Yeah, Pato Award
And Pillow.
Yeah.
Or Joseph Newgarden or whoever's driving for Cadillac over there. Scotty McLaughlin.
Yeah, no.
Get him over.
The
Alex Pillow.
Yeah. Yeah, but the lead runner is Pato Award.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
So, yeah.
I wouldn't mind it. I mean, it does mean that McLaren loses their lead IndyCar driver, but...
Hey, it's a seat on an F1 grid.
It's a lot more exposure for the kid.
And they're going to be running Ferrari power units.
Yeah.
Until they get their own ones developed in 2028.
Good on it. Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, Checo and Pato, they're both Mexican, so
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So,
That actually wouldn't be a bad driver lineup, to be honest.
yeah.
Yeah, Checo could teach Pato some shit. Pato's fast anyway, so if I was going to go that route, that would probably be my driver lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I don't have a photo for this, but we'll put up a photo of probably the F1 logo right about now. So there's talk of changing the engine formula because next year, for 2026, they're going to V6 turbo hybrid running 100% biofuel with just the MGU-K, no MGU-H.
Yeah.
They're already talking about swapping to either a V8 or a V10 running biofuel with no turbo and bringing back the old KERS system.
I heard that too, but I also heard they scrapped the V10 rumor because who's coming in?
Audi.
Yeah, Audi's already dropped all this money on developing and Cadillac too. It's like, well, you got us into the sport to develop V6 turbo engines, hybrid engines, so that's what we're here for.
Well, what Audi said was they don't mind about upgrading the internal combustion engine from V6 to V8 and ditching the turbo. They don't mind that. But they don't want to lose the electrical components.
Yeah, well, if they're coming into the sport on the premise that that's what they were running, and then they're going to take it all away, then what was the point of getting in the sport?
But they also said they are very happy to stick with running the biofuel.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that
the
they
biofuel's going to happen.
That was one of the things that they wanted was the biofuel.
Yeah, they want synthetic emissions-free fuel, and that's what they're developing. Christian Horner's come out and also said it's more expensive than they think. So
But
we will see. I mean, yeah, Christian Horner's already said the biofuel's more expensive. But I don't know what his excuse is. He's the one that didn't want to go to 50% electrical power as well.
yeah, because they couldn't get it to damn well work. Whereas apparently the Mercedes power unit for next year is already ahead of schedule and ahead of where it needs to be.
Well, it sounds like a Red Bull problem, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that the Ferrari engine isn't that far behind the Mercedes engine.
Yeah, so...
Whereas the Red Bull one is sort of languishing behind. And I think Ford is going to have to pick up the slack.
Ford is going to have to pick up the slack.
Because it was supposed to be Red Bull does the internal combustion engine, the turbo,
Yep.
and Ford does all the electrical stuff.
Yep.
But Ford's going to have to, pick up the slack there. You got Honda who've got to design a brand new engine from scratch because they can't use the one that has been powering Red Bull for the last few years because Red Bull owns the intellectual property on it.
Yeah, they're going to have to go back to square one.
And Cadillac is using the designs from the Alpine engine, the Renault engine that was supposed to be in next year's car, but they sold them so that they could run Mercedes engines.
Yeah. Unreal.
So, yeah, It's a whole new board game.
Oh, it's going to be a whole new ball game next year. New edges, new regulations.
Stupid regulations, though. Like, this DRS whenever you want. You've just made the sport 100 times more dangerous, and you've just created a DRS train.
Yes. Yeah, the fact that the leader can use it, you know.
Yeah, it's...
What's the point? So
Yeah.
what, the car behind's going to use it too, and the gap's going to stay the same.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's going to fail.
Yeah. You've just taken something... And we were so excited about these new rules, the new ground effect cars. They've been touting it for years.
We were excited about the prospect of losing DRS, so what do? Fucking double down on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure Ross Brawn is sitting there going, you've just undone everything I fucking worked for.
Yep.
You
We were on the
pigeons.
way to losing DRS out of this sport,
Yeah.
and now it's fucking...
I still maintain they should just go back to the body shapes from the mid-90s.
Bring back the smaller cars.
Smaller cars, nicer engines,
Yep.
less aerodynamic tomfoolery,
You had it right.
less computerized stuff. Yank all the computer shit out. Yank it all out.
Let the drivers drive the cars.
Yeah. Like, fuck me.
Yeah.
That's why when you watch a race from the 90s, you're like, this is so much better. Even the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Preferably not 2002 when Ferrari just wiped the floor with everyone.
No, we like 2005 when the cars were good.
Yeah, but they had those shit rules with the tyres.
Yeah, but you could, imagine having those cars with full slicks, no grooves, and just standard pit stops.
Actually, 07.
Yeah.
07, 08. That was peak.
Those cars were actually slower in a straight line there.
Yeah, but you get my point, though. Like, they could follow, they could overtake. It was...
You've got to find the balance. You've got to simplify it enough as to where you can still follow the car in front, but you don't have to rely on electrical power and DRS
Yeah.
to get an overtake done.
Yeah.
You have to rely on racecraft, which is, which I think we've argued in earlier episodes of this podcast.
Yeah.
Is a little bit of a lost art lately.
Yeah. All right, we get to the final news item, and this broke today that Formula One legend Jochen Mass has passed away.
It's a shame.
He only ever won one race.
He did.
And this is sad what I'm about to say, but he was involved in the crash that killed Gilles Villeneuve.
He was.
But he tried to save him as well. So I don't think he'll begrudge him or anything. It was just a racing accident.
That's it. I mean, these guys raced in the most dangerous era in Formula One history.
Yeah, we've seen Rush. We know the opening monologue from there.
Yep.
It is what it is. He was actually in that movie.
Yeah.
The real Jochen Mass.
Was he?
Yes. Played himself.
There you go.
Yeah. So, rest in peace, Jochen Mass.
Yeah.
So, we're going to move on to the drivers for the last time tonight.
Holy.
So, believe it or not, tied in 9th place is Lance Stroll and Esteban Ocon, both on 14 points.
The two spastics are tied for 14th.
Liam Lawson's not in there.
No, it's Esteban. Imagine that chess match.
Imagine
They wouldn't be playing chess, though. They'd be
Ocon
playing
and Stroll being in the same team.
just fucking window lickers.
8th place is Alex Albon on 30 points.
That's a good point haul for the kid.
Yeah.
30 points.
7th place is Lewis Hamilton with 41 points. 6th place is Kimi Antonelli with 48 points. 5th place is Charles Leclerc with 53 points. 4th place is George Russell with 93 points. 3rd place is Max Verstappen with 99 points. 2nd place is Lando Norris with 115. And leading the championship still is Oscar Piastri with 131 points. And then we get to the constructors. 10th place is Sauber with 6 points.
Stop me if I'm wrong, but is this the earliest point in the season where the tail-gunning team doesn't have 0 points?
Yes.
Like, Sauber had 6 points after, 3 races.
Yes.
There was years where, Haas had none for the whole year. Or Williams got, 2 at the end.
The Sauber went for 21 rounds without having a point.
This is probably the first time in a long time where, the back teams haven't been on zero.
Yeah. Ninth place is Alpine with 7 points. Eighth place is Racing Bulls with 8 points.
That's a gripping battle.
It is. It's white knuckle.
It's still more exhilarating than it has been for the last few years.
True. Seventh place is Aston Martin with 14 points. Sixth place is Haas with 20 points. Fifth place is Williams with 37 points. I can hear Brody, Senor Longhorn, cheering from here.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, I'll just do the Hulk Hogan. You can't see this, but I'll do the Hulk Hogan, ear
Look at
thing.
you. Fifth.
Fourth place is Ferrari with 94 points. Third place is Red Bull with 105 points. Second place is Mercedes with 141 points. And in first place, over 100 points ahead already, is McLaren with 246 points. Here's the thing. Despite the fact that we sat here for about 15 minutes shitting on Ferrari are only 11 points behind Red Bull.
Yeah, in spite of everything.
In spite of themselves.
Although, that's Ferrari at 11 points behind Max Verstappen.
True.
And Yuki Tsunoda's 3-point contribution.
Yeah.
And Liam Lawson's absolutely nothing.
Yeah, but I mean, how is that any different from what it's been for the last couple of years for Max Verstappen?
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, it is what it is.
Correct.
But they're
they're already 100 points clear. Holy.
just skating on off into the distance.
Well, I'm not complaining.
You know what's going to happen. You're going to get to Coda. You're going to get to Coda, and you're going to win the race, and at the end of it, it's going to be, ooh, a little bit of the bubbly as you wrap up the constructors
We're going to have the constructors wrapped up by fucking, like...
Monza.
It's done.
It's just let them go. Just fuck it.
8 years of fucking Mercedes domination and 4 years of Red Bull domination. I'm taking this. I'm taking this and I'm running with it.
It's funny to think 10 years ago it was GP2 engine. Now it's constructors.
Now it's like we're dominating the constructors and it's just a matter of which one of our drivers is going to win the World Championship. It's a pretty good place.
But because it's McLaren, it's going to be Senna and Prost all over again.
No, I hope not. We'll see. I'm just waiting for Lando to do something dumb.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of time for that. Right, so we're going to move on to the socials now. So you can watch this on YouTube on the F1 Chat care of Vindicator 18 channel. We're also on YouTube on the F1 Chat -1. You can interact with us on Facebook on the F1 Chat. Also on X, which is the F1 Chat 1. Don't forget the 1. We're also on Rumble as the F1 Chat, and we're on Spotify as the F1 Chat.
Oh, we did it!
So the next race is in 2 weeks at Imola, and it is the first race of a triple header.
Well.
Because you've got Imola, Monaco, and Spain.
Well, we'll do our best to try and keep up with the races next time.
And the teams have to shore up their front and rear wings to eliminate those mini DRSs by Imola.
Again?
Yeah, they've got to make it so that there's no buggerising around now, because a certain team, Red Bull, whinged, and so...
So Christian Horner's huffed and puffed and... Yeah.
It wasn't even Christian Horner, as Pierre Wash.
For God's sake.
Yeah, McLaren and Ferrari both like, nothing wrong with our car. If Ferrari's sitting there, every Ferrari supporter sitting there going, bullshit. And
McLaren's already passed 2 of those tests, but, keep them coming.
Keep them coming. Same as Ferrari. Ferrari passed the test. They just can't pass the test of having a winning fucking car.
I love how it's the 2 teams that get fucking blamed for it are the ones that pass the test.
Yeah.
And then everyone else that tried to imitate it had to go back and change their wings.
Well, Haas and Kick Sauber both come out and said, fuck. Haas and Alpine have both said, fuck, we've got to change our car now.
And the ones that are actually getting targeted by Red Bull have passed the test twice. So, well, you can't beat them, join them. Join them legally.
I can imagine fucking one of them, probably Zach Brown, sitting there going, Hey, Christian, you remember what you told Toto a couple of years ago?
Fix your fucking
Change
car.
your fucking car? Have a listen to your own words, buddy.
Like that meme. That meme did come back, actually. There's a meme of Toto telling Christian to change his fucking car. Hey, Christian, change your fucking car. That's the joy of Formula One. You gotta get your words soft and sweet in case you gotta eat them later.
Yeah. Right. So, that's us.
We did it, despite the sinuses just erupting. It's good. You made
Yeah,
it.
your sinuses and I'm breathing in an iron lung.
Yeah, we were fucking
Perfect.
grateful.
We need to hire a new host for the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll just type it out and let AI voices do it.
Yeah, honestly, it was a really good episode, but apologies for everyone that's going to have to put up with that. Sorry that we sound like we just came out of the fucking bubonic plague, but yeah,
The Black Plague.
yeah, I wasn't ready for that one.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the episode. It was 3 episodes in one, but
We got it done.
We got it done. We don't know when we're going to do the next one. Hopefully in 2 weeks when we just do Imola, so then it won't be an editing nightmare for me.
Correct.
But until then, thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you next time. Until then, it is goodbye.